Hello, Chris here. Welcome back. In the last video, we made a dice that is looking like this. In this video, I'm going to show you how to apply materials and make this dice into a dice that is looking like this and this. And at the end of the video, I will show you how to make a render that is looking like this. So, in order to apply materials to this cube and make it look like a dice, we need to go to a rendered mode. Change the render engine to cycles. If you have a graphics card, change it to GPU compute. Go to Edit, Preferences, System, then click CUDA. If you have a graphics card, then it will see it here. I have a GeForce GTX 1050 Ti and 11th generation Intel Core. I'm using a screen recording, so I'm going to untick this CPU rendering. Otherwise, the recording will be damaged. If you have an RTS graphics card, you can enable it here. Mine's CUDA. So then save preferences, then close this window. Change this to GPU compute. Change the render engine to cycles. Right now, the background is a dull gray. You need to change that to an HDRI image. In order to do that, go to World tab, World Properties. Click this dot that says color. Then change it to environmental texture. It will turn to a purple color, which means I haven't opened any HDRIs. You can download HDRIs for free from Polyhaven. In order to go to Polyhaven, go to web browser. Polyhaven. Select HDRIs. I like this HDRI. So I'm gonna download it. Download completed. Close the window. Then go to open. Then it will open this window. Go to the folder which you downloaded the file. Then select that file. Then open. This will open the HDRI image, which is beautiful at the moment. Now we need to apply a material to this cube. In order to do that, after selecting the cube, go to Material Properties. Since this is a default cube, it already has a material to it. If it doesn't have a material and it's looking like this, you can click New. It will assign a material to it. I'm gonna change this material to Dice Red. I'm gonna expand this window a little so you can see clearly. Then go to base color, change it to a red you like. Then go to subsurface color, select this eyedropper and select this color. Change the subsurface to 0.25. Select all this by dragging to 0.4. Change the roughness to 0.18. Now it's looking like a dice. Now we need to add color to the holes of this cube. So select the cube, go to edit mode using tab. You can't select the faces right now. Go to modify properties, untick this display modifier in edit mode button. Now you can select the faces here. I'm gonna go to material preview mode as my computer is slowing down due to the cycle render engine. Go to material preview, go to face selection mode, select these faces, then shift select the rest of the faces. Don't select the faces outside of the hole, just select the faces inside the hole. Now that's all selected. Turn on the display modifier in edit mode. Go to object mode. Go to material preview mode. Go to material properties. We need to add a new material slot. So click this plus button. It will add a new material slot. Select the new material slot. We need to make this white material exactly as the properties with the dice red material. So go to this drop down. Select dice red material. Now there is two dice red material. Then we need to make a copy of this and change this color. So click this new material, add a new material button. This will make a copy of this material and make it into a new one. I'm gonna change this to dice whole white. Now change the color to white. The easiest way to change it to white is hue to 1. saturation to 0 and value to 1. Then select the subsurface color, select the eyedropper and select it in this one. Now go to edit mode by using tab, then select the dice whole white material and assign. We selected the faces before. If you haven't selected the faces, then select the faces and click assign. Now go to object mode by using tab key. As you can see, a cube is turned into a dice. Now we need to make a dice which is looking a little transparent. So in order to do that, we need to duplicate this dice using Shift plus D. Then place it here. Select that one. Go to material properties. Select the dice red material. Create it into a new material by clicking this button. Change this name to dice red transparent. Now go to transmission and change it to 1. Increase the transmission roughness to 0.15. Now go to rendered mode. As you can see, a cube is looking like a jelly cube. Then go to material preview mode as my viewport is slowing down. Now we need to make a dice scene. So we can add 2 different colors of dice if you want. So select both these. Shift plus D. Now we have the duplicate of 2 of these cubes. Select one, go to the material of that cube and dice red material. Create a new material. I'm gonna change it to dice blue. Change the subsurface color also to blue. We can change the color of this cube to blue too. Select the dice. Go to dice red transparent material. Make it into a new material. Change this name to dice blue transparent. Now change the color to blue. Now we can have a green dice if you want. I'm gonna make a green one too. Select these two. Shift plus D. Change the color. Select the dice red color. Make it into a new material. Change it to dice green. Change the color to green. Change this color to green too. I don't want that much green, so I'm gonna change the value a little. Select this one. Make it into a new material. I'm gonna change it to dice green transparent. Change the color to green. Now go to rendered view. Now we have a total of 6 dices. Now we need to add a plane. So go to solid mode, Shift plus A, mesh plane. Scale that plane really big. Go to front view. Lift all these cubes, select the one. In order to move the cubes, press G, then Z. G, Z, G, Z, G, Z, and G, Z, G, Z. Now we need to stick these cubes onto this plane as they are sitting on the plane. In order to do that, we can turn snapping on. Go to this one, face project, select face project, then turn on snapping. Then if we do move this, click G, it will stick to the face of this plane. Then G, G, G. You need to be careful as if you place the mouse cursor on this cube, it will stick to this cube. So be careful not to place the mouse cursor on any of these cubes. G. Now we need to look through our camera. In order to look through the camera, press numpad 0. If you haven't got a numpad, you can go to View, Viewport Camera. This will place the viewport to camera view. To come out of camera view, you can use middle mouse button. Our dices are looking so big at the moment. Change the pivot point to individual origins. Turn off snapping. Select the cubes. Scale them really small. Now we need to apply the scales. In order to do that, Control plus A, then scale. Now all our cubes are in the air, as you can see. We need to stick it to the plane. So turn on snapping. All the cubes are selected. Then G. Then it will all place the cube on the plane. Now we need to move these cubes in a way that is suitable for our camera. Go to camera view using numpad 0. Or you can go to view, viewport camera. As snapping is turned on, you don't have to worry about moving the dices in the air. Select one dice, G. Go to material preview mode. As you can see the color of the dice. You can place the dices one over the other or something. Rotate the dices using R key, then Z. Rotate among Z axis so that we don't see all the same faces over and over again. Rotate Z axis. Go out of camera view. I'm gonna place one of these cubes above the other one. Go to front view facing 1, G, Z. Go to back view using Control plus 1. Then place this cube among here. G, X axis. G. Since the snapping is turned on, it's moving above this cube. Then G, place it here. We have a problem at the moment. As you can see, all our cubes have 3 above them. So select one, rotate among X axis 180 degree. Select another cube, rotate among Y axis 90 degree. And select this one, rotate among X axis 180 degree. Those two have the same 4 faces. So rotate among X axis 180 degree. Now they have 3. Now go to the camera view using numpad 0. Move this dice to here. And this one to here. This one to here. Now our scene is a little ready. Change the floor color to something else. So select the floor. Go to material properties. Doesn't have a material, so click new. Change this to floor. I'm gonna change the color. Then go to rendered view. Don't like that floor color. I'm gonna change it to blue. I'm gonna move this cube. Now our render is ready. Now we can render the scene. Go to render properties. Make sure this render engine is cycles. GPU compute. If you want to render faster, you can reduce the maximum sample to a 500. That's more than enough to render this scene. Or you can leave it as default, which is 4096. I'm gonna change it to 500 as my computer is a little slow. Then go to output properties. If you want to render it into an HD image, 1920 by 1080, that's enough. If you want to make a 2K render, you can change this to 200%. I'm going to render it an HD image and render image. But before that, you need to save your file because sometimes Blender can crash while you try to render the scene. So file, save your file. I already saved my file. You can save the file using file, save, then select the folder and click save. I'm gonna render the scene using render image. It's going to take a little time. I'll be back once the scene is rendered. My render is complete. You can save the image by image, save, then select the folder you want to save the image to. Change the name of the image, then save as image. If you want to change the whole color of any of these dices, I'll show you how to do that. Select one of the dice, then go to material properties, select the dice whole white material. Make it into a new material by clicking this. Then change this color to, I'm gonna change it to orange. Then change this color. Select dice whole white material. I'm gonna change that to dice whole orange material. You can change the whole color by using this method if you want. If you need to increase the transparency of any of these glass cubes, you can go to transmission. Select that material. You need to select the material of the dice, which is this blue color, dice blue transparent. Then transmission. You can decrease the roughness if you want, decrease the transmission if you want. I'm gonna try and change the transmission roughness to 0.5. Change it to rendered mode. You can play with the materials like this if you want and make your scene more interesting. I went ahead and changed the position of my dice a little. You can do that if you want. Now I'll show you how to move the camera itself. In order to do that, go to view, navigation, walk navigation. As you can see, while we move the mouse cursor, the camera is moving with you. In order to go to left, you can click A in the keyboard. In order to go to right, you can click D in the keyboard. In order to go to up, you can click E in the keyboard. And in order to go to down, you can click Q in the keyboard. In order to go to back, you can click S in the keyboard. In order to go to front, you can click W in the keyboard. So place the view according to your preferences. Then left click. That will place the view to that point. Then go to rendered view. I'm gonna change the position a little by going to view, navigation, walk navigation. As you can see, while I'm pressing the keys A, D, etc., it's moving too fast. You can decrease or increase the pace by using scroll wheel. Like this position. Then set the camera by using left click. And I'm going to change to material preview as my viewport is slowing down. Change the floor color a little. Gonna change it to this color. We went back to that color anyway. Then go to render view. Then you can render this scene by going to render image. That's it for this video. If you have any questions about this video, you can post it in the comment section. If you have any suggestions about what you want to see in my next video, you can also post it in the comment section. Bye for now. See you in the next video. Have fun.